What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with you people? Is you, people like you, caused my identity crisis and tortured me.
I feel like people are gonna like distance from me. People won't accept me anymore because they feel like I'm not one of them, and like I desperately wish to conform. It sounds really stupid because a lot of people thought I was open-minded and like super liberal, which I am, but I do get really self-conscious and I'm not really sure about myself, and like I don't really love myself that much. Well, I love myself when I feel like I represented myself well, but in those situations where people might think that I'm not from here, I just don't love myself. I don't like about my heritage. I don't like about the fact that I was born somewhere else. I don't know, it's weird. I'm just so stressed out. I'm just like, I want to make sure that my pronunciation is totally correct and totally American sounding. And if I don't live up to that expectation, my confidence would literally decline from here to here, like all the way down to the bottom. And sometimes I just don't want to talk anymore. Like one of those days, I just feel like, oh my gosh, like my tongue is just so fucking stressed out. Like my tongue is so heavy, my jaw is so tight because I've been like grinding like at night when I sleep. And I just didn't want to talk to anyone. I want to like stare at walls and just do something like just with myself and chill. Because other people might judge me. Like if I would go out and like talk to other people and didn't pronounce certain words right or didn't sound American enough, I just feel like they're judging me and I just want to come back home and cry. Like literally, I just felt very insecure about it. So I went to a boarding school since the age of 3, all the way until I was 12. So for 9 years I was in an Italian boarding school. And all my classmates, pretty much almost all of them, their parents are like celebrities and governors. And it was a really good school, that's why my parents really wanted to go there. But the problem was like, everyone really hated each other there because nobody was raised by their parents and not from traditional families. The only parents that we have are like school teachers, but they actually treated us like super harshly. And so growing up, I've been eating pasta a lot. That's like my home food because it was Italian boarding school. And my mom was among the first group of people who worked at the Chinese International Trade Center, and that's when the Chinese government first opened the market to the outside world. And then my dad worked for Pepsi. So basically, what I would eat at home was American.
I know exactly who I am and what I want.
Ham, peanut butter, like all that kind of stuff. And then at school, I was eating Italian food. So I was actually not exposed to Asian food, Chinese food, or chopsticks until I was in middle school, which is when I was like 13 or 14.
But I'm actually white. I'm actually white inside. I'm
to bring money to school or snacks, any outside sources, because the school wants to like protect the celebrities and governors' kids from like being captured like, by paparazzis outside the campus. So it was like a really confined experience for so many years, 9 years. I was always inside of the campus and never gotten out, except for like on weekends, like 1 or 2 days, but then we just went straight back home. And after the age of 12, I luckily went to a traditional middle school in our hometown, which is a really small community in Beijing. And it was like kind of like a closed community too. And then, so I went to middle school there for like 2 years, and that's the only 2 years I was exposed to real money, read a magazine from the outside world, and have the freedom of watching TV, and cross the road by myself. I've never done that before. I didn't even know how to look at the traffic lights. As ridiculous as it sounds, I actually didn't even know how to read the clock. So it was just really different. And at the age of 15, my parents and I decided that, you know what, actually we all feel like traveling and getting to know more of the world is very important. So they sent me to South Dakota for my sophomore year in high school, and I lived with a Lutheran family and went to a Lutheran high school. And then junior year, I went to a Catholic school and lived with a Catholic family in Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin. And then senior year, I transferred to Spokane, Washington, and lived with a Mormon family, but went to a atheist school. And now I'm here in California after the age of 18, 3 years now, since freshman in college. So my point is, the only parents I've had that actually raised me, they're helping me, were actually the host families that I had. And those families, the majority of them were white. And actually, my favorite host family, the one that I stayed with the longest, was in Spokane, Washington, which was a year and a half. And they're very Caucasian too. So basically, I've been growing up eating Western food, and the only parents I lived with were Caucasians. And my parents never really raised me because I never really lived with them in a house before, except for those 2 years back in middle school. But they're always busy. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up!
I know exactly who I am and what I want.